Hello everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to the video, and today we are here for another weather breakdown. Now we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today, including severe weather possible over the next few days. We do have a tropical cyclone left out in the Pacific and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with the SPC outlook for today, where we have two thunderstorm risks. One is going to be back up in the New England area, but the one I'm personally more concerned about is the one down here in the deep south, okay? Isolated severe weather will be possible across portions of the Florida Panhandle. If I was the National Weather Service, I would issue a marginal risk for this, honestly, but not a huge one. Just a 5% damaging wind risk, I would say, okay, because we have had some storms that have earned special marine warnings just off the coast of Florida, and there's actually one right now in North Carolina, so they should potentially even expand this thunderstorm risk up to there. But overall, these storms won't be too bad. Moving on to tomorrow here, we do not have any major risks, okay? We do have a small, teensy tiny thunderstorm risk in South Florida, but overall, that's not really going to be a huge deal. Moving on to Tuesday here, no thunderstorms forecast. So let's go ahead and move on to the National Hurricane Center. Starting off with the Atlantic, nothing new. Eastern Pacific, we have post-tropical cyclone Ramon here, okay? This will be leaving us by the end of day Monday. Previously, I said it would be leaving us at the beginning of day Monday, but they have expanded its lifetime out, but not by much. So I wouldn't expect any problems with Ramon at all. It is bringing some clouds to Baja California, southern Baja California, but overall, not a big deal for anybody. Central Pacific, nothing new. So let's go ahead and move on to watches, warnings, and advisories right now. Okay, we do have some winter weather advisories effect for the following states. We have some in Illinois, some in Iowa, some in Wisconsin, some in Maine, some in New Hampshire, okay? Some in Michigan, in the purples there. Those are your winter weather advisories where you could see a few inches of snow if you have not already over the next 24 hours or so. Now in the pink, in the upper peninsula of Michigan, those are going to be your winter storm warnings, as we're going to see a lot of lake effect snow in this area, so you've really got to be careful. This is going to be a pretty big deal up here. It's kind of our next big snowstorm, so definitely look out for that. It'll keep you updated. Lake effect snow warnings in effect for portions of the Ohio Valley here, so definitely look out for that. The northeastern Ohio Valley could see a bit of lake effect snow as well. But other than that, pretty calm right now. Like I said, we do actually have a couple of special marine warnings in effect. One is going to be there just east of North Carolina, and then the other is going to be down by the Panhandle of Florida. So some strong storms will be possible over open waters in those areas as of right now. But overall, not a huge deal. But these are producing some very high wind gusts, actually. So look out for that, I guess. But next up, we have the snowfall totals over the next 23 hours. If we go ahead and play this radar loop out to 10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, compare that to whatever your local time is, this is the situation we could be dealing with here. So we're going to break this down state by state, starting off with Montana, where northeast Montana could get a stray snow shower. Same thing for northwest North Dakota around Williston, but overall, those states aren't a huge deal. South Dakota, the Sioux Falls region may see a dusting of snow, but overall not a big deal. Iowa, northern Iowa could get a dusting of snow in multiple locations, and then also in eastern Iowa and southeast Iowa, you could actually get upwards of half an inch of snow around Davenport, so look out for that. Minnesota, okay, eastern Minnesota could be in for upwards of an inch of snow, especially around the Grand Rapids area. We could see just a little bit more than that, so definitely look out for that, I would say, but overall not a huge deal. Then we have Wisconsin here, where most of the state's just going to be in for your general dusting, but then you get into the Wisconsin UP border. That's where you could get into the few inch of snow territory. There's several pretty high readings for this time of year just on the border of Michigan and Wisconsin, so look out for that. Speaking of Michigan, starting off with the UP, we have several readings over 5 inches today, even a reading over a half foot in the UP of Michigan. Specifically, the western portion of the UP is where you could see those totals over half a foot in isolated areas around Greenland and Wakefield, so look out for that in that area. But the eastern portion of the UP could be in for a few inches of snow as well around the McMillan Township, the Munsing Township, the Munising Township, and that whole area. The rest of Michigan here could also be in for quite a bit of snow, okay? Northwest Michigan, once again, could get into that half foot of snow territory in some isolated spots. There's a 5.8 inch reading here just north of Prudenville, south of Roscommon, so look out for that, and then just several like scattered 5 inch plus readings, so definitely look out for that in northwest Michigan. We get into southern Michigan around Lansing. You could also get a few inches of snow around the Battle Creek, Marshall, Maple Rapids, Fowler, several inches of snow possible, so look out for that. But the rest of the state's really just going to be in for a dusting or maybe an inch or two of snow, okay? So not a huge deal, but still something I thought I would definitely want to mention. Then we've got Illinois here. I kind of skipped over Illinois, but there are a few areas in Illinois that could get a few inches of snow. Just southwest of Chicago in the suburbs around Aurora, you could get an inch of snow or two, okay? There is an area as well around the Princeville, Wyoming, Galesburg area where you could get an inch or two of snow. Same thing for the Washington, Goodfield area. Urbana, Arcola, Lovington, Cerro Gordo, DeWitt, Farmer City, this whole area could get an inch or two of snow, so look out for that. But the rest of the state into the central and southern portions of the state could be in for just a dusting of snow, kind of ending around the St. Louis corridor area, so look out for that. Then we've got Indiana here, where central Indiana could be in for a dusting of snow around Indianapolis, but then you get into northwest Indiana, that's where you start to see your heavier snow totals, and a little bit of that lake effect snow as well, okay? We have several 2-inch readings just off of Gary here in the coast of the lake, so look out for that. Then we got Ohio, where northern portions of the state could get a dusting of snow upwards of half an inch around Cleveland, so look out for that. West Virginia here, okay, eastern portions of the state could get a little bit of snow around Lewisburg, Craigsville, Clarksburg, Morgantown, possibly upwards of a few tenths of an inch of snow. And then northwest Virginia here, an isolated area around Bluefield, Tazewell, Springville could get a dusting of snow as well. Even going all the way down into North Carolina now, we could get a dusting of snow just north of Asheville, so look out for that. And then also on the North Carolina-Tennessee border around Irwin and Johnson City. So we're getting into the time of year where even areas like Tennessee and North Carolina are getting snow, which is actually pretty interesting. Next up, we got Maryland, where isolated northwestern portions of the state around Pleasants Grove and Friendsville could get a dusting of snow. Pennsylvania, western Pennsylvania could get a dusting of snow, and if you're in northwest Pennsylvania, potentially up to an inch or two. There's a 1.5-inch reading south of Lewis Run. There's several 2-plus-inch readings here around Spring Creek, Union City, Spartansburg, so look out for that. New York, okay, we could get a few inches of snow on the New York-Pennsylvania border in that similar area in southwest New York, so look out for that. You get into northern New York State, and that's where you could get a few inches of snow as well. There's several readings over 3 inches here, even one over half a foot in the mountains, okay, but that's going to be isolated areas, so look out for that. Then we've got Vermont here, where most of the state's going to be in for a few inches of snow, but you get into northeast Vermont, once again, some of those areas could get upwards of half a foot of snow here. There are several readings over 5 inches, so you got to look out in the mountains of Vermont, so definitely look out for that. Massachusetts, tiny northwestern portions of the state here around Williamstown and North Adams, Clarksburg could get a dusting of snow. New Hampshire, northern portions of the state, there's a 6.7-inch reading just north of Berlin, okay? Upwards of half a foot of snow or more possible in this area. This is going to be one of our main targets over the next 23 hours, so look out for that. And then a dusting of snow all the way down into Concord as well. Maine, okay? Western portions of Maine, kind of along the west coastline of Maine, up on the Canada border, could see over half a foot of snow once again just within the next 23 hours. Some isolated areas of the mountain could get even more than that because there's a 7.8-inch reading here near Snow Mountain, but just in general kind of like half a foot in the mountains of Maine, so look out for that. And then finally, we're going to be looking at the Tropical Tidbits forecast model, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, this is right now, you can kind of see our low pressure system centered around Florida here, producing some isolated severe storms. So look out for that if you're in that area. And then our low pressure system producing the snow here, or I guess our high pressure system, is producing snow in the upper Midwest, and then rain in the lower Midwest, and then portions of the upper South. So look out for that. We play this radar loop into, let's say, midnight tonight. We got that system moving off to the northeast, producing some heavy snowfall, maybe some isolated tiny thunderstorms here, okay, so look out for that. We go into noon tomorrow, alright, that system kind of leaves the area, and we're left with only but some snow and rain in Maine, so look out for that. Snow and rain in Maine, I like how that rhymes, actually. Anyway, we go ahead and go into 6 p.m. that night. Not much, really, not much at all, actually, okay, but if we go into, like, noon on Tuesday as well, not much, alright, but it's whenever we go into December December 1st that we really start to see some stuff pop off here, okay? So actually, it's around November 30th. You can kind of see some rain entering South Texas here, which normally wouldn't be a big deal. But we play this loop out a little bit further. We can see it expand around noon on Thursday, November 30th. We could be dealing with a lot of rain in that area. But then we go ahead and go into midnight on November 30th, right? And we've got some severe storms potential in northeast Arkansas and central Arkansas, centered around the Little Rock, Jonesboro area, okay? So definitely some isolated severe weather possible there, but not as much as we were thinking before, which is why you should never look too much into a model run before you get closer to the event date, okay? But still some severe weather possible, isolated severe weather in portions of Arkansas on the 1st, so look out for that. And then we go ahead and go into December 2nd. We do have some possible isolated severe weather in portions of southwest Georgia and southeast Alabama, so look out for that. But then overall, not much really at all. And then not much for a while, honestly. We will get a lot of rain here actually on next Monday. But then we go past that. I mean, not much. We do have some ice accumulation, some heavy ice accumulation even in portions of Vermont and New Hampshire, so look out for that next Monday, but even that's a little iffy since we're so far out. If anything, I say look out for the heavy snow here in northern Maine next Tuesday, okay? We could get a lot of snow. There's a 972 millibar low pressure system there. That's pretty strong, okay? We go into next Tuesday as well, possibly some isolated severe weather, some stray severe weather around southwest Oregon, northwest California. But again, they were playing that out to be a much bigger event than they are now, so I don't think it's going to be too huge. And then after that, I mean, not much, honestly. We do get a pretty big low pressure system to move through here, but it doesn't really intensify that much until it leaves the country. So overall, not too much for the next few weeks, actually. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Stay safe.